Hi everybody, it's Chris and welcome to another video by the Infinity System. Let's talk about Moon Knight. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Moon Knight is part of the Marvel Expanded Universe and will soon be premiering on the 30th, actually, on Disney+. Now, Moon Knight is interesting because he is actually considered to be one of the most violent and unstable of all of the heroes in the Marvel Universe. Think of a Batman basically with no moral conscience. The basic background of the character, at least in the comics, is his name is Mark Spector, a mercenary who is known for his ruthlessness and willing to take jobs from just about anyone. While on a job, he'd been hired by an Egyptologist to inspect and bodyguard one of the digs down in Egypt. One of his fellow mercs attacks and kills the Egyptologist in front of his daughter. The Egyptologist's daughter, not Spector's. Spector then attacks the other merc and fights him, and after being severely wounded, is taken into a newly discovered tomb by the Egyptologist's daughter Marlene, and then placed before a statue of the Egyptian moon god Khonshu. Spector dies of his injuries and then suddenly springs back to life, fully healed. Khonshu then informs him that he is now his representative on Earth, the Fist of Khonshu, who is now to redeem his life of violence by protecting and avenging the innocent. Upon returning to the United States, Spector, a fellow merc called Frenchie, and Marlene set up shop as crime fighters, using the ill-gotten gains from his work as a ruthless merc to finance their operation. Along with Moon Knight, Spector uses 3 other identities to gain information in different social circles. They are Stephen Grant, billionaire businessman; Jake Lockley, taxicab driver; Mr. Knight, private detective. At first in the series, it is heavily implied that Spector is insane, but later it is revealed that Spector in fact has DID, and that his identities are in fact his alters, some of whom come to include both an astronaut and an unnamed little girl. While the series never clearly states whether Spector's DID is due to genuine trauma during childhood or the telepathic contact with Khonshu during his youth, the depiction offered is not one of positivity. Moon Knight is among the most violent of the superheroes and is often referred to as psychotic. Khonshu himself tells Spector that he was able to contact and influence the young Spector because he had a quote-unquote weak mind, which, if anybody knows anything about DID, knows that in fact that's the opposite case. But moving on. With the most recent edition of the MCU releasing on the 30th, it will be interesting to see how the Disney-owned media juggernaut will deal with what is certainly one of the most problematic of all Marvel heroes. Producers have stated that the show will be far darker than anything that has been shown before, but have also promised a more realistic depiction of DID, with the production hiring on-board certified psychiatrist Dr. Paul Puri, who is also an assistant clinical professor at UCLA and past president of the UCLA Psychiatric Clinical Facility Association, to help consult both the actors and the directors. Notice they leave out the writers, but we'll see. Oscar Isaac, who stars as Mark Spector in Moon Knight, focused on the intense childhood trauma in the series and how that trauma manifests into adulthood. Quote, "I think it was just about being honest to what dissociative identity disorder is and honest to what a lot of people have to deal with, which is really intense childhood trauma and how that manifests as an adult. I think for us it was about authenticity more than even story communication." Unquote. With the producers deliberately deciding to put the audience in the perspective of Stephen Grant, one of Spector's alters, and then allowing them to experience firsthand the confusion and fear that goes along with DID, marks a break in DID narratives. With Hollywood's disturbing trend of always casting DID sufferers as having evil and murderous alters as protagonists, positive and even realistic depictions have been seriously lacking. With the Disney/Marvel MCU being one of the most successful franchises of all time, and with Moon Knight being part of the Phase 4 lineup, Marvel has an unprecedented opportunity here to finally get it right with regards to DID. Is it too much to hope for that we won't once again be shown as psychotic monsters just waiting to do something to the poor hapless NTs? Or will we finally get inclusive, sympathetic, positive representation from a character struggling with a difficult mental disorder that can still manage to kick some bad guy ass? Or will we once again end up simply howling at the moon in despair? With Moon Knight set to premiere on Disney Plus on March 30th, we'll soon see exactly what kind of representation Disney and the Marvel Universe has in store for a character with the complex dissociative disorder, and hopefully, at the very least, we'll get some positive representations of a superhero who can kick some bad guy ass while backed up by a dark Egyptian god. I mean, hey, who doesn't want to see that? Hit us up with your thoughts in the comments section below. Are you planning on watching Moon Knight? What do you think of past representation of DID in the media? Will Disney and Marvel get it right? Give us your thoughts below, and as always, we thank you for watching and remind you that you are loved, that you are strong, and that you're not alone. I'm Chris. Thanks for watching.